Hello and welcome to the lecture series on Railways, Harbour, Tunneling and Airport for the subject code 18CV645, Module 3, Session 3. In this session, we are going to discuss about the factors to be considered for the site selection of an harbour, planning of an harbour, design elements it should be considered with respect to the harbour, natural phenomena which is affecting the design of an harbour, breakwater, and inland water transport and references. Moving on to the first thing, that is a site selection for an harbour. So, a few of the point has to be kept in mind when we select a site for an harbour. First is the availability of a land, which should be cheaper and all the construction material should be available. Next is the transport and communication facilities. Apart from that one, natural protection from the wind and the waves. Next, the industrial development of the locality, seabed, subsoil and foundation condition, traffic potentiality of an harbour, then availability of electricity or the electric energy and fresh water, favorable marine conditions, defense and strategic aspect. So, these are the points to be kept in mind while we select a site for an harbour. So, overall it should have all the facility in the form of land, also construction activity, communication and also protection with respect to adverse weather conditions. So, these are all the parameter we are going to be concerned when we select a site for an harbour. So, first one, some other important factors. So, we should concern about the site selection as a criteria. First one is the speed of seawater. So, if the speed of the seawater it enters or leaves the harbour, so if it is going to be slower, it results in the silt or the deposition. So, if it is going to be at the higher velocity or the higher speed, it will erode the harbour and the channel area. Hence, an optimal speed has to be concerned when site is going to be selected. So, after that one, the amount of dredging it is required in a particular area. So, as we know that minimum drift has to be maintained. So, from that aspect the site must be lesser maintenance from the dredging, and especially at the estuaries has been concerned where it is been subjected to coastal changes and lateral drift. Next is going to be the tidal range. The range of tidal which is going to be having its significance effect or the influence. So, in case this tidal range value is exceeds by 5.5 meter in case of locked entrance. So, it has to be provided, it means you should provide a locked entrance for the loading and unloading activities at quay, berth and wharf. So, that is an important of tidal range it is being selected with respect to the facilities to be provided. So, next one is going to be the range. It is a natural or the standing wave in the sea. It is caused by the changes in the atmospheric pressure or due to the seismic differences. So, as the small change may going to have the hindrance towards loading or unloading operations at a berth or at mooring. Hence, range has to be selected according to the site condition. Next is the wave characteristics. So, in this wave characteristics, the length of the wave, height of the wave and its velocity is to be measured. So, this is going to be helpful while designing of a breakwater and their site, then the shoaling and the shallowness. Apart from that one, the beach building also depends upon the wave characteristics. So, hence this wave characteristics is going to be the one more important factor it needs to be considered while selecting the site for an harbour. Similarly, the incident and magnitude of a storm. So, this as we know that water transport is highly susceptible to the storms or the hurricanes or the cyclone. Hence, the magnitude and the incidence of the storm from the past data has to be collected, and as we know that it plays a very important role in deciding the location of an harbour. So, that is what magnitude of the storm is going to be one more factor it is to be considered while the site selection. Similarly, the wind direction, wind characteristics with respect to velocity it is also going to be important. So as we know that 10 years of a data is going to be important in identifying its velocity, height of the wave, so which in turn depends upon the direction, duration and intensity of a wind. So it is going to be decided for proper direction and location of an harbor. So some more special considerations has to be concerned while we having planning of an harbor is taken into account. In that criteria, the direction and intensity of a wind, so that plays a very critical role for aligning of our breakwater or any other coastal structure. Next is the frequency and occurrence of a storm. Next is the height and force of a wave, field range and velocity current. Next is the littoral drift, erosion and silting. So these are some special considerations has to be done while we selecting a site for an harbor. So design element will include the area which is going to be free from the movement of waves or any other thing, and also the depth. Next is the entrance entry channel. Apart from that one, lighthouse for the navigation, then sufficient space for the parking. Apart from that one, for the loading and unloading activities. Lastly, the characteristics of a vessel, that is a size, depth and tonnage of a capacity and its operation maneuver has been concerned. So that is the vessels and its characteristics also going to be plays important role with respect to design elements has been concerned. So next structures, as we know that it is a breakwater, as I had explained in the previous sessions also. It is a protective barrier. It is going to be constructed to enclose the harbor to keep the harbor water undisturbed or in a calm condition. So as it is been affected due to the heavy and strong seawater wave, it is known to be a breakwater. So it breaks the movement of a water by means of a wave. So that is a wave breaker has been concerned, that is a solid wall. It breaks the movement of a water, hence it is called a breakwater. Next is a mole. So inner side of a breakwater which is been constructed as a quay for a cargo handling, so that is also called as a mole. So these two, that is a mole and breakwater, has to be considered in the proper designing of the harbor. Next is the classification of types of a breakwater. So as we seen what exactly the breakwater and its function. So we are going to be having a different types of breakwaters. Then we are going to be classifying it 3 to 4 types mainly. First type is going to be the heap or a mound type of a breakwater. So in this type of a heap or a mound breakwater, we are going to be having a rubble mound type, then concrete block or a mound type of a breakwater. Next is a rubble mound which is been supplemented by a concrete block. Then is a rubble mound breakwater, it is supplemented by the stone block. So all these types are going to be so taken that it depends upon the energy it should be breaked and size or the types of material or the types of vessels we have been operating. So that is going to be created, or we are going to be classifying in the type of heap. It means we are been just pouring over onto the sea side, so that it is in form of a heat to heap to break the intensity of the water or the sea water, hence the name heap or mound type. So next is going to be the mound with a superstructure or a composite type of a breakwater. So in this case we are going to be having a particular type of a superstructure. It is going to be a wall which breaks out the energy of a wave, that is called as a mount with a superstructure. Next is a upright type of a wall for the breakwater and a special category or special types of breakwater. So these are the classifications with respect to breakwater has been concerned. So next we are moving on to the next topic. It is called as an inland water transport. So as we know that in India we are going to be having some perennial rivers, or the width is going to be sufficient for the operation of a water transport has been concerned. So apart from the seashore, if you operate the water transport as in the case of rivers or any other thing, so such types we are going to be called as an inland water transport or IWT. So inland water transport is going to be referred to the water transport, as I said, it is been away from the main coast since the time is going to be immemorial, and inland water is also going to be an integral part of water transport. So as we know that before introduction to the rail or river is going to be the principal mode of the transport of a goods has been concerned. So India has utilized rivers extensively with respect to the irrigation. Suppose if it is the drift or the depth of water is going to be in the navigation facility, so hence we can operate or we can use the water as a mode of transport inside our country boundaries. So as we know that we are been having a in India, rivers are going to be classified into two types, or Himalayan river where we are having a Gangetic where the river Ganga is navigable up to the Kanpur, that is having a longest distance of 800 kilometer. Then Brahmaputra is also going to be navigable up to 1300 kilometers, hence we can use this as a mode of transport, because as we know that it is going to be the cheapest mode of transport for the cargo. So next is going to be the perennial river, so where the river has going to be a rocky bottom or where we are going to be having not safe for the navigation. So that's what a river or a perennial rivers has to be carefully chosen with respect to IWT has been concerned. So as I had explained, Himalayan rivers like Ganges or the Brahmaputra and their tributaries, those rivers are going to be having a good source for the irrigation and navigation. So as far as the requirement for an ideal waterway has been concerned with respect to navigation, whatever the water or the it is been concerned, it should have a smooth and steady and uniform flow of water. There should be having a permanent path, so no meandering has to be concerned or it has to be happen. However, as we see that in Himalayan rivers are with having a spate of a water in the monsoon, so during the summer there might be of a scarcity of a water, and also the shoal it obstruct the smooth navigation. So that's what minimum amount and flow or the intensity of water is also going to be important. Apart from that one, the deposition of a silt or the any debris, it should be always kept to a minimum, because the requirement or the maintenance is going to be a costlier affair. So this is how the inland water transport has gained its importance. Also the pattern of funding, it is been planned in each of the planning periods has been concerned. The moving on to the first plan, that is a first 5-year plans has been concerned. So that is providing only 16 lakhs, mainly it is spent for the hydrographic survey, that is to have the analysis of a current or studying of the tides has been concerned. So in the second plan, around 115 lakhs of rupees has been spent for Buckingham Canal, and 43 lakhs of rupees has been spent over the west coast canal has been concerned. So likewise it has been started improvising and try to look at the 6th and 7th planning. So it is been declared in the 6th planning, that is a certain waterway is going to be treated as a national waterway has been concerned, and also the modernizations of existing ports is also going to be taken care in the 6th planning. And 7th planning, there is a 200 crores has been planned, and it has been for the modernization of an IWT has been concerned. This is how the growth of IWT is been taking place in the drastically with the improvisation or modernization of the existing, and also the construction of new facilities. So next is going to be revitalizations of IWT. So as we know that every major cities, the urban transport system is going to be a crisis. So due to this growth of both vehicle population, so suburban railway is going to be having its limit. So wherever we are going to be having a context of water, or the city which is been adjunct to that water, or it is been having a potential so that it can be improved as another mode of urban transport. Hence, few of the suggestions which has been made to revitalize the IWT or to review the urban land for this facility. So, first point is the excavation of a heavily silted up channels to their design capacity, that is the drift be maintained. Then the reclamation of these waterways will going to reduce the pollution. So, as we know that it improves the overall environment. So, obviously it will reduce burden over the other system or the road transport, certain extent to the cargo also, that is the movement. Next is the rehabilitation of a inhabitant which is settled along the water course has to be taken into consideration. Next is the diversion of a sewage and untreated effluent, it needs to be taken away where the water course has to be went for the revitalization of IWT. So, this is with respect to this session, what are the factors and design elements to be concerned with respect to the coastal or the harbor structures has been concerned. So, to prepare this session, once again we had refer the standard textbook as per the prescribed in the syllabus along with the web reference. Thank you.